Start yanking your doodles and dandies, folks, because it's the July 4th edition of DemsTV. I'm John Aravosis of AmericaBlog.com. It's time for round one, Demsclaration of Independence. Monday marks the 229th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Pundits, today we have another King George who lords over America, who has committed his own abuses and usurpations. So put on your powdered wing and give us your Declaration of Independence from the radical right Republicans.
What I'm going to do is explain how we declare our independence. So we're not going to dump tea into the harbor, we're going to dump Budweiser into the Mississippi. We're going to introduce multicolored cars into NASCAR. The flag, the gay pride flag, will be represented fully in NASCAR. We will be declaring war against the Republic of Texas. We will make Bush serve out the rest of his National Guard duty in Iraq. And we will prove that his daughters don't understand a word he talks about when he says the word abstinence.
Walmart just held a big PR extravaganza in Arkansas with headliners such as Jessica Simpson and alleged Democrat John Bon Jovi. Brett, let's start with you. What songs might Jessica and Nick, of course, and Johnny B have sung to celebrate Walmart?
Well, John Bon Jovi would retool his lyrics a little bit, and it would be living on minimum wage and a prayer. And then Jessica Simpson would come out wearing her Walmart-sponsored Daisy Duke shorts and sing David Bowie's classic Little China Girl, because that's who would have sewn her Walmart-sponsored Daisy Duke shorts.
Heather.
Oh, I heard they did this great duet of Back on the Chain Gang. And also, the neatest thing was how they brought out the Harlem Boys Choir and Jessica, and they did this great remix of Gonna Make You Sweat.
And finally, Jim, we've got Walmart, and what songs would Jessica and John Bon Jovi sing for them?
Well, they're definitely playing the Beatles 8 days a week because that's the new labor agreement that they struck with their workers. And they're also going back to the 80s and the punk rock days. Holiday in Cambodia by the Dead Kennedys. You'll work harder with a gun at your back and for a bowl of rice a day.
One great thing about the Founding Fathers, they were progressives. Go back and read the writings of Jefferson and Franklin and the others, and you'll see that they were clearly anti-religious right and pro-tolerance. But don't take my word for it. We have them here in the studio with us to weigh in on the spirit of '76 as applied to the dispiriting reality of 2005. Peter, you are Benjamin Franklin. Compared to 1776, is America doing better or worse today with regards to religious freedom and tolerance?
Ben Franklin was the father of science in this country, along with his buddy Thomas Jefferson. And today in this country, our students are learning religion and ideology instead of science. And our scientists can't explore stem cell research here in America. They have to go to Asia to study these life-saving opportunities. Bring back the original freedom that our founding fathers intended for this country.
All right, well, let's move on to round two. Democratic MVP. A few weeks back, the governors were in town for their annual meeting, putting on parade some of the brightest stars of the Democratic Party, many of whom are considering a run in 2008. Margie, who's your governor pick for Democratic MVP?
Well, I would pick Mark Warner from Virginia. Not only did he win statewide in a state that is really clearly red and has been red in presidential races, he's also laid down the groundwork for statewide races in Virginia now in his absence. He's term limited out, and you have the governor's race and lieutenant governor's race looking great for Democrats. And I think that's a sign of how Democrats can win in the South.
All right, Heather, give me an answer.
The lovely Jennifer Granholm. I mean, first of all, she just unveiled a 7-point plan to make Michigan the best place to live. Number 5, cool cities. Who doesn't want a politician making sure there are enough skateboard parks, tattoo parlors, and passe martini bars? I know I do. Also, Orrin Hatch and I have one thing in common. Foreign-born citizens should be president of the United States. I'm calling it here. 2012 Schwarzenegger versus Granholm. That's a match I want ringside seats for.
Ow! On to round 4, the Unpatriot Act. The ironically named Patriot Act is up for renewal. We at DemsTV would suggest that in addition to changing the law's provisions, it really needs a more truthful name. Jamal, how about you?
I like to call it the Letting the Terrorists Win Act, because If the terrorists want to destroy our society, maybe this is a really good way, because we'll get rid of the Constitution, we'll get rid of the Bill of Rights, and then we won't have any freedom left, and they'll be happy.
It's time for another installment of DemsTV Platform. The Republicans say Democrats are brain dead and intellectually vacuous, but we're going to prove them wrong. Heather, if we're to put together a progressive platform, what would be your top 3 themes?
Do you know that George Bush is proposing a 2006 budget that's 30% higher than the one he inherited as president? I think we need to start talking about responsible government at home and abroad. Democrats don't talk enough about where they are and where Republicans used to be, which is, remember, the party of small government.
Jim, give us your top 3 themes, proposals, or platform pranks.
This is a revolutionary, hyper-changing world, and I think that the party that figures out how to deal with a globalized, changing world will be the dominant party for the next 20 years. So I think there are 3 things we need to do. One is, this is an ideas economy. We need better schools for an ideas economy, even if it angers teachers' unions, etc. Second is, it is a hostile world out there. We need to clean out the Cold War closet, get rid of the weapon systems that were designed to wage a war of the past, and we need to have a modern military that is designed for the conflicts of the future. And third, we should take the tax code, which is complicated and unfair, and we should toss it out the window. If that doesn't work as a platform, free ice cream and free internet pornography is very popular as well.
Your barbecue may be over and the beach traffic may have died down, but it's still Memorial Day here at DemsTV, where we're standing up a special armed forces show. Real simple question, pundits. Whatever your position on the war, name me a war hero from Iraq who made you proud to be an American, and then name me a war zero. A person who either epitomizes the mistakes made in Iraq or is substantially responsible for them.
In an attempt to rack up additional points, I'm going to choose several war heroes. They're the members of the 343rd Quartermaster Unit. They're the ones who, if you remember, back in October, refused to drive a convoy because their trucks did not have armor, and the path that the Army said was clear was not. Granted, they were dismissed from the Army for this, but not court-martialed, and they showed a moral courage in bringing to light how poorly prepared we were for this war. Now, my war zero is none other than Paul Wolfowitz. We all remember that scene in The Jerk where Steve Martin's father sits down and explains to him the difference between shit and shinola. Paul Wolfowitz said we'd be welcomed in Iraq with sweets and roses. He clearly needs someone to tell him the difference between sweets and insurgency, roses and rockets.